And this time he's like, put the pill in your pussy this time. So I put the pill.
And he said it that way.
Yeah, he said, put
the pill in your pussy.
And then he put it in his mouth and just put it in for me.
Yeah. And then he also.
And then I was like, while you're down there, then he slurped it out. Yeah. Great doctor. I love him. He's going to be our
shamrock,
doctor.
Shamrock shake.
Anyway, I did that. It was the fucking worst pain of my life.
It's horrible.
Horrible.
What
it was
a
like literally had
thing.
Contractions and bled out in the bathroom that you just took a piss in. No,
I love it that like pro-lifers are like make it seem like, oh yeah, you just like these women just go in and it's just like dee 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 dee. It's like horrible.
No, I was crying the whole time. I was really sad. I was like watching the ultrasound and I was very devastated. But I knew that it was going to be a fucked up life for me. It was going to be a fucked up life for the kid. It was going to be a fucked up life for everybody.
It was the right decision.
Yeah. I would have been a horrible mother. I would have been horrible.
It just would have been, and the child was a small
massive cells. Come on, give me a fucking break with that shit.
And yeah, it just was like, it would have been horrible. It would have ruined lives, your life, her life, or his life, or its life, and then the guy's life.
Well, no.
Am I better looking than him?
Definitely. Definitely.
No, but I've heard this story a number of times, and it's just like, I'm sorry you had to go through that.
That's okay. I had so much shame around it. I didn't tell anybody. I didn't tell anybody that I had, I didn't tell my best friends. I was so deeply ashamed.
What was the shame? Like
that I had gotten pregnant. I don't even know what the shame was. There was so much shame around it that I didn't tell anybody. I didn't even tell my mother. I was like bleeding on the floor of my parents' bathroom because I was here visiting. And I was just like went into the bathroom and just like laid on the floor and was bleeding out. And it was so fucked up. And I didn't tell my best friends. I didn't tell anybody.
Because you thought that they would think, was it?
I knew that they wouldn't judge me for it. I just felt, I don't even know where the shame was coming from. It was like somehow it was my fault. All of it was my fault. Like that's just my thing. My trauma is like everything's my fault in some way.
Right.
So there's just so much shame around it. And then I told one friend and she was so understanding and compassionate.
Was anybody weird? Any friend?
The one friend that was like questionable around it, I think was
because he was like, how could you let that guy impregnate you?
I don't even remember.
Like,
I just think he felt a bit.
Baby?
No, definitely not. You should have had the baby. I thought he was like maybe a little judgmental about it, but I could be wrong. Maybe that's not a real memory. I just felt like maybe in my mind he was going to be judgmental. Maybe he wasn't even judgmental. Maybe I just thought he was going to be judgmental about it.
Wow.
Not an important.
It's pretty wild
detail.
That that's so traumatic. And now it's only, if these laws keep getting, it's only going to keep getting more traumatic.
That's what really is so scary is like young women who are, they're children. You got 15, 16-year-old girls who are already dealing with like how fucked up it is. And they have no support and nobody to talk to, and it's not legal for them to do it in their stupid fucking states. It's really scary.
Yeah. It's like it's this whole thing of like, because of like since the 7th, right? Like we keep experiencing all of this trauma, knowing that there's a lot of people in the world that hate Jews. But then you hear this, and it's like a lot of people want to do this to women, and that's hatred of women. That's oppression of women. Yeah. And it just teaches you to try as best as we can to fight our oppression, but not walk around with it in our heads 24/7.
Can you expand on that? I don't know what you mean.
Because there's just always going to be bullshit. There's always bullshit. And like to let the bullshit weigh you down. Oh, you're saying like you've been a woman your whole life and you have to deal with being a woman and like you still keep living. Right? Exactly.
Yeah, I mean, that's true for everybody who has, a kind of like, not an easy existence. You just got to keep going. But anyway, I think that the thing about the people are going to continue having abortions. It's just how safe they're going to be. 15-year-old girls will go to some fucked up doctor and, something terrible could happen. So
And then they could go to jail if it's found out.
I know.
They could be put in prison.
I know.
I mean, it's fucking crazy.
It's really crazy.
And this is something that does fascinate me, why we haven't come up with a better alternative for a condom, like a better condom, really. I mean,
I just found a huge box of condoms in like the bathroom upstairs.
the skin ones we used to use, they're probably bad.
No,
now.
they expire in 2025. Does anybody need like a 30 pack of condoms? Because we'll never use them.
Whoever says yes and wants to get those from
Send
us
me your address.
is the exact person we never want to be around us or communicate with ever.
If anybody wants my box of condoms, I'm happy to give it to you.
No, but like, why haven't they come up with like something better?
They have PrEP.
I guess so. I guess PrEP. Yeah, PrEP and the pill. PrEP
And
for
antibiotics
AIDS and then,
for gonorrhea and
well, yeah, all the others,
clear up chlamydia as
all the
well?
others are either you can get rid of or they're easy to live with and everybody has
They're
anyway.
fun.
Yeah, everybody's
you don't
got
have
like
them, you're not
HPV or
fun.
herpes. Enough people anyway.
Yeah. I remember one time I was sleeping with a guy and I was really paranoid about HPV at this point. And he's like, what even is HPV? And I was like trying to explain it. He's like, well, what's the percentage of the population that has it? And I said, I think about 75%. He goes, well, I definitely have it then. And I love that so much.
Oh my God, everybody's got it. I'm sure. There's different strands though.
Yeah, there's the one that cause warts and the one that cause cancer. Guys, if you want to get medical advice, we are the people to get it from. We are experts.
Well, when you're sexually active, you need to know everything.
Yeah, we know lots of stuff. So there's the wart kind and the cancer kind.
Responsibly sexually active people.
Yeah.
We don't need to like study up now because, we're together. We satisfy each other.
Do you remember every single person you've had sex with?
Their names?
No, just like an idea of them.
Wow, I'm really scared that I don't. But I think I do.
I also don't though. I also don't. Like I have like a kind of a vague idea of some of them, like kind of remember the night that led to it.
We're sluts.
But there are ones that are not very clear to me.
Yeah, we're sluts. We've both had sex with a lot of people.
Sluts, big time.
But
we're fun.
That was
like
rehearsal for the
curious.
main event, which is each other.
Yeah.
That's my fear, is that like we become this old married couple that doesn't fuck.
Can you tell everybody how that's a very unreasonable fear? And
well, just like in this, you getting annoyed by me.
But you're just
when
annoying.
But it makes you not want to have sex.
No,
with me.
I still have sex with you. I just pretend you're somebody else.
See, no, I hope you don't do that. Do you ever do that?
No.
Have you ever done that with me?
Probably.
Really?
I don't know.
Where you pretended I was somebody else?
I don't recall, but probably.
Probably?
We've had sex thousands of times.
See, that's like awful. That's awful.
Well, what if you were really
pictured
annoying
somebody else?
It's not different.
If I was really annoying to the point that you would feel like you need to picture somebody else fucking you or you fucking, I would want you to have
maybe
sex with me.
Not necessarily
that night.
pretending you're somebody else, but like, oh, we watched like a sexy movie and there was like a sexy scene and like that's like inspiring the moment.
And are you just thinking of that scene? And like not like I'm in that scene and I'm Sharon Stone and Michael Douglas is still Michael Douglas. Oh, but now I'm Michael Douglas and Sharon Stone is Sharon Stone. Is that how it goes?
Probably.
Or is it
something like that.
I'm Sharon Stone and Brett's Michael Douglas and this is Basic Instinct?
Yeah, probably something like that. Or maybe I'm Michael Douglas and I'm fucking Sharon Stone.
I said that already.
Yeah.
Hold on.
I'll let you know. It's not happened recently, so can't report. But if it happens, I'll let you know.
I need to know more about this. I'm sorry because it
Okay, for example,
gives me a lot
when
of anxiety.
we saw The Favorite, right? There's like some really hot sex scene in there. I don't even remember.
I mean, we might have been. I don't know how many people were turned on by The Favorite.
Okay, we might be in.
I mean, Olivia Colman literally has like gangrene in that movie. And everybody just seems like under the powder, they're very dirty. And for some reason that just like, for some reason, like that era, it was the same thing with Poor Things.
Yeah, that one.
Because The Lobster didn't turn me on and neither did Dogtooth, but The Favorite and maybe
Emma
like
Stone is the
like,
thing. Maybe we just want to fuck Emma Stone.
Was it Emma? I mean, I don't know. Like Emma Stone. I don't know, maybe. I mean, Emma Stone's a very attractive woman, but yeah, no, I don't think it's about Emma Stone. It's just like about like the people are covered in like powder, but they're filthy under
and they feel
powder.
Dirty.
Yeah, they've got like wigs and powder on and fake birthmarks.
And you like want to fuck the stank. Yeah,
I get that. And it's like, ooh, that's so clean, and under that is just like filth, like dirty pubes. You know, I remember like in acting school, maybe this is like in acting school, we would have Moliere. It would be like second year. We studied Moliere and we all did a Moliere play in the studios. And it was very intense because from these Moliere plays, and we weren't doing them like in theaters, it would be like in the studio rooms is what I mean, in studios, which were like fluorescent lit. Everybody's like on folding chairs and watching us like in our blacks, like, you know, black like clothing, like unitards and leotards do Moliere. And Molière is a French playwright who was a playwright during Louis XIV, who is, I think, I mean, you could say just as influential on Western culture as William Shakespeare. And very funny, like very comedic. But like also there was like, that was like the time of like the French, you know, it's like Louis XIV. Like this is the time of powder and stank.
Uh-huh.
And I remembered there was like a French teacher who like they wanted like to give context. It wasn't like during the performance when we all got together. And he was like, the thing you have to understand about these people during this time is they did not bathe. The only time that Louis XIV ever got wet was when he fell in the pool. And maybe that like got in my brain of like, oh, that's really hot, you know, and then Dangerous Liaison.
Yeah.
Very like
you
sexy
like the powder
movie.
Stank. You're
So do
into
you.
the powder stank.
So do you. We share that.
No, there's just like an erotic.
We
I
watched
think like lesbian sex is really hot to me.
But we were turned on by Poor Things though too. Oh yeah, there is a lot of lesbian sex in that too. But yeah, after The Favorite, we saw The Favorite. We fucked on the roof of the ArcLight in my car.
You know what was most impressive about that fuck sesh was that you didn't need to point your toes to come.
When I'm on top, either
Brett always needs to point his toes.
only if I'm on the
come.
bottom. Only if I'm in the bottom. I don't know why. Do you guys ever have this where you have to tense your legs when you're on the bottom in order to come? What is that? I don't understand. I looked it up. I think it has to do with like your prostate or something. But when I'm
And sometimes
when
if we're fucking
I'm on
for
top,
too long,
though-
when we're fucking for too long and he's relaxing his legs, I'm like, would you fucking point your toes?
no, because then it also stresses me out a little bit. And I'm like, okay, I just have to like.
I feel like a ballet teacher. Point! Point your toes.
Only when it's like those nights where in my mind
You
you're
have
like,
come anxiety and my hips are like gonna fall off if you don't come.
yeah, and then we should switch it up if your hips are getting tired. There's
But
other.
Yeah, but if
But
you're
you
already
become
in the,
like,
no,
I
but if you're
need
in the
to-
anxiety state, it's just not gonna happen at any.
Yes,
anyway.
no, that's not been happening though. We solved that because I quit
Anyway,
smoking. I don't
point-
smoke as much weed.
That's true. You have a beautiful point, by the way. You should have been a ballerina. You have like a gorgeous
But when
point.
I'm behind you or I'm on top or we're doing another type of position where I'm not on the bottom,
You want to finish this? You want to establish that you.
I don't need to
Okay.
point my legs. I don't need to tense my legs. No, I'm just like being accurate here.
Okay.
I'm not ashamed of having to tense my legs. I don't know what that is. I wish I didn't. I think it has to do with your prostate, actually, maybe. I don't know.
Anyway, Nice point. You got pretty feet.
I think technology can solve the climate crisis and will save the planet. Got to figure it out.
Gotta figure it out.
What do you think?
When you're stressed out, you do that.
What do you think?
Gotta figure. Your face goes like into a smile.
What do you think, though?
What do I think? I'm like, I like to bury my head in the sand a bit. Like, and say I'm hopeful, but I've read a lot of stuff that says it's too late. I just can't go there, because when I read the data and all the science behind it, every scientist who, like a climate scientist, will say, we knew that it was fucked up 10 years ago and we didn't stop. So I like to believe that, like, yeah, we can turn it around, but that's not what the planet doctors are saying.
Yes. And what? No, I mean, it will take...
And miracles happen every day.
No, it will take some inventions happening that are not
humanity,
readily available to us, and also humanity stopping this behavior, which, I mean, there is a lot of green technology going on that I don't think that, like, we are told about a lot of the time.
If these huge corporations, like, found a way to monetize green technology in the way that they've monetized
fossil
fuels, then we'd be in a different position. But they don't want to say bye to their money.
But look at, like, how many electric cars there are, though.
Yeah, I think...
You know, that, like, it's now a normal thing to see mostly electric cars on the road.
I read something kind of fucked up. I thought the same thing. And then I read this article about how the battery waste from all these electric cars is really detrimental as well. Like the disposing
yes,
of
I've heard that as well.
Batteries is really fucking damaging and leaves a huge carbon footprint. I don't know if it's the same as fossil fuels. And
well, I think that would be some sort of
cars.
technology that would need to be developed with the batteries, and that you find a way to environmentally dispose of them or recycle them and refurbish them to make them as good as new for future cars.
Yeah, I'm not going to pretend like I know anything about that. I
don't either,
I'm
but
not a scientist.
I feel like there's, like, if we could find ways to, like, vaporize things in an environmental way.
Oh, wonderful, Brett. You are sounding like a true fool right now.
What do you mean? No, but, like,
Brett,
isn't that
amazing.
Like what fusion is? Wouldn't, like, fusion do something to that nature of where you could condense energy or matter
That's
to something?
That's not how my brain functions. I don't know anything about that.
Or you could, like, zap some trash and,
Yeah, let's burn our trash. Sounds great.
No, not like burn it, but like literally like vapor, like zap it. Like
zap
where it like disappears like it was never there.
Vaporize it, you idiot.
Like it was never there.
Yeah, that sounds great.
The trash zap.
Brett has a new invention, the trash zap.
Or pulling like carbon out of the sky so it's not reaching the ozone and the oceans.
Are we going?
Putting some sort of...
I want to move in.
Putting some sort of particle in the ocean that cleans the ocean.
Brett, you sound like a fool.
But why am I a fool? Why
because
cannot we not have like some sort of... But I'm saying, like, we look at our iPhones. Who would have thought that?
Right.
Who would have thought AI?
Okay, so let's actually, I really love this. Why don't you come up with all your ideas, put them out there for some scientists to figure it out. So you said ocean zapper. So what does the ocean zapper do?
I'm not going to pretend for a second that these are full ideas.
Okay, but let's do the seedling of an idea. Here we've got a few seedlings of an idea of how to solve the climate crisis. Okay, so idea number one by Brett's seedling of ideas.
Some sort of technology that you could circulate the ocean water in which you could clean it.
So like a distillery.
Or some sort of thing that you could develop that would dissolve harmful substances in the ocean but not kill marine life.
Walk me through this. How does this, what is like a distillery?
And I don't know. Like, it probably couldn't be a chemical because then... you know,
Okay.
how you going to, I mean, I guess you could test it like micro and see
Seems
if it
like
works.
if you introduce a foreign chemical to the ocean's ecosystem, it would be really bad.
Yeah,
So
it
I
would be
think
bad.
chemicals out.
So it would have to be some sort of particle that's created that absorbs the harmful particles, but does not give
What
any
are you
harm.
talking
Does
about?
not cause any
so
harm.
like a little
I
like
bet that they
trash
are working
monster.
on
So like it
this.
eats like the plastic in the ocean. There's
Or
chomps at the plastic.
yeah, like some sort of like thing that then absorbs that. Yeah, and
What if it
dissolves it.
absorbs all the creatures in the ocean?
Well, you would have to test it, you know, and make sure that it didn't do that.
Okay. Question. Let's say that it like can distinguish between marine life and marine plants and all that from plastic. But what if a sea turtle has a plastic straw in its nose?
The plastic straw dissolves in the turtle's nose, and the turtle is fine.
There you go. Solve the climate crisis, ladies and
Sucking
gentlemen.
the carbon out of the air. This is
Okay.
a thing that I feel like maybe could happen.
Okay. I'm really, really glad that the future of our planet is not in your hands.
I'm not a scientist. I've never claimed to be.
Oh, really? Thanks for joining us on Neurotica. Don't forget to follow us on @Neurotica Podcast on Instagram.
Ever heard of it?